Hello guys, today we will understand how the Vikings conquer the lands of England. Before we get into the video, please like and subscribe, thank you. Raids and initial invasions, 8th and 9th centuries. The Viking raids on England began in the late 8th century, with the infamous raid on the monastery of Lindisfarne in 793 AD. These early raids were often hit-and-run attacks on coastal towns and monasteries, driven by the Vikings' desire for wealth and valuables. Over time, the raids grew more frequent and widespread, targeting various regions along the English coastline. Establishment of Viking settlements, 9th century. As Viking raids continued, some Norsemen began to establish more permanent settlements in England. They used these bases to launch further raids and attacks. The Vikings gradually expanded their territorial control, moving from coastal areas to inland regions through river networks. Great Heathen Army, 865-878. One of the significant turning points in the Viking conquest was the arrival of the Great Heathen Army, a large Viking force that arrived in England in 865 AD. Led by prominent Viking leaders like Ivar the Boneless, Halfdan Ragnarsson, and Ubba Ragnarsson, this army was more organized and aimed at territorial conquest. They captured several English kingdoms and established control over a significant portion of England, Danelaw and Treaty of Wedmore, 9th to 10th centuries. The Viking conquest led to the establishment of a region known as the Danelaw, where Viking influence was strong and Norse customs and laws were upheld. The Treaty of Wedmore, often associated with the legendary King Alfred the Great, marked a significant moment in the conflict. The treaty established a boundary between the Anglo-Saxon and Viking-controlled territories. It also led to the conversion of Guthrum, a Viking leader, to Christianity. Gradual integration and settling, 10th century. Over time, the Vikings began to integrate into English society. Some Vikings transitioned from raiders to farmers and traders, settling in the lands they had conquered. Interactions between Vikings and Anglo-Saxons led to cultural exchange and the merging of traditions. Norman conquest, 1066. The Viking influence culminated in the Norman conquest of England in 1066. The Normans, who were descendants of Vikings that had settled in what is now Normandy, France, invaded England under the leadership of William the Conqueror. The Norman conquest marked the end of the Anglo-Saxon rule and further solidified the Viking influence in England.